Game number 1 for today. Here we are. Bottom left side, a blue Terran fighting for the Storm Gamers. It is GUMIHO. And in the bottom right side, our Chinese prodigy, the Terran player in red. It is Time from Kaisi Gaming. Alright, interesting little TVT here. Two players that we don't get to see all too often. At least I haven't seen playing TVT together all that often. GUMIHO, a player that we all know for his mech style, even though he's kind of been stepping away for that, from that for a little bit. Hasn't been as continuously going mech as we seem to think. Whereas the Towel Terran, I mean, we all know that he loves himself some Banshees. Absolutely adores it. Already seeing something particular from Time here, going for the CC quite early on. And honestly, I think that could be helping him out here. Also going for the reactor first, so... a little bit of greed here coming out of Time. All of this without scouting either, so GUMIHO going for the safe build here. A little bit of a disadvantage, perhaps, if he doesn't manage to get some damage across the map done. And one Reaper, that's going to be a rough thing to make that work with. Although with two Marines, you could micro your way around those. It could be a problem. Especially if you just instantaneously rush your way across the map with the Reaper. That's not what's happening here, though, for GUMIHO. GUMIHO is still on his side of the map, trying to play it safe, going for an expansion of his own. Probably thinking he's being pretty greedy with it. Well, actually, that's the regular timing, to be fair. Well, he's checking for proxies. Trying to be as safe as possible. In Time, not as safe, but you know what, he's not gonna die, and he has that command center done now, so there you go. You know, sometimes it pays off to be the man with a big appetite. Sometimes that works. Starport's coming in as well. We see Widowmine being created here. Interesting to see if he's gonna go for a Widowmine drop. Probably not, right? Not what we see most of the time. There's the tech lab now being added on, so assuming that is going to be for potentially Banshee here, as I was contemplating earlier before, or it could just be the Raven as well, right? Boring good old Raven. And there it is. Alright, it will be the Raven. Okay. Safety first. Safety first out of GUMIHO here today. Time, also 2 tac labs here. Actually, he did go straight up for 2 tac labs. And there's the Raven as well. Makes sense, makes sense. Time did go for a, whatchamacallit, Cyclone as well, whereas GUMIHO going for a Widowmine here. Quite interesting. There's a little bit of safety to the front door. And that could be a potential little surprise, right? If Time ever does manage to get to the front ramp, tries to push his way up there, maybe with a clump of Marines or whatever, could come as a little bit of an awkward moment. Time of Reapers and Hellions are over apparently, as they are rushed into the SCV line of Time. Only 2 workers go down. But GUMIHO gets a pretty reasonable idea of how many SCVs are there, and if he paid close attention, he notices that there's just a couple bit more on the side of Time. Not entirely sure if he picked up on that fact, but if he did, that'd be pretty good. If he did, that'd be pretty good. Another good thing for him to see would be, of course, a third base in production right here. On the low ground, nonetheless, as well. Towards his opponent. So, a very aggressive third base, but is he going to get punished for it? 2 siege tanks right now versus, well, there we go. Also 2 siege tanks, but they are coming in from a different angle. Time does see this. He's going to be able to reset up his position. On the bottom side, we have those ravens as well. Potentially waiting for a chance to strike here. Sees that the army of time is a little bit distracted, and that's when he goes. Auto turret harassment's pretty damn strong. It's going to be strong enough to do some real damage here. So far, well, 2 SCVs have gone down. It's not too many. A Raven is going to go down as well now because of this. Those slow zones, quite a tough thing to run away from. Widowmine didn't get to do anything. He's gone. He's out. Now an awkward situation where the SCVs have to be pulled here for, I guess, both players in a way. So I'm going to run them back up onto the high ground, not losing them just quite yet. GUMIHO tried to buy himself a bit of extra time. Has the Vikings now on the low ground here. Might start to clean that up eventually, but on the other side, the siege tanks, oh, they just barely can't shoot the enemy siege tank. That's a rough spot to be in. Hasn't quite cleaned this up yet either, and now, well, pandemonium. Pandemonium. Absolute pandemonium. How do we call this? Right, so both of them made a home in their opponent's natural base. GUMIHO gonna be pushed out a lot earlier though, it would appear, and you know what? GUMIHO also lost a lot more workers in this situation. He's lost all his ravens now as well. To be fair, that is the same story for GUMIHO. Clean scan on the high ground there at the right time. Does allow time to keep that push going for a little bit longer. Nice target fire there as well from time, actually. He's doing a good job. Third base for him as well. Already mining, already in orbital, whereas GUMIHO's struggling still to find some sort of an answer here. Does have to tap out. GG is called. Time takes game number 1. Bottom left side, a blue Terran resides. Wants to try and tie up the series right now. It is Psystorm Gaming's GUMIHO. And his opponent top right side bringing out 2 SCVs already. Ooh, suspicious. It's the Rat Terran. He is Kaisi Gaming. Time. Alright, well, one SCV does get spotted. Were they both trying to do a proxy 2 racks? Were they both? And now that they've both been scouted, they're like, well, never mind. Let's make them in our main base instead. Yeah, that is actually exactly what happens here. That is kind of funny. Why? There we go. There we go. Both in the exact same boat here. That is something you don't see every day. Well, at least it's equal this time around, right? Startup is equal, so if things do spiral out of control in the earlier mid-game, we won't be able to claim that it was because of time's economic advantage anymore. Instead, well, it's going to be because of some other mistakes someone made at some point in time. There's a couple of frame skips here and there. I don't know why, but it happens sometimes with the connecting to the Korean server for me from Europe. The players don't have, how do you call this? Don't have these lag spikes. Well, fortunately for me and them as well. I should still be able to. Still follow the game. Let me try to find if I can get some more room perhaps for this thing. That might help. Alright, well, we'll see, we'll see. But yeah, unfortunately, it's just a thing that happens when sometimes it is a far way away. Oh, my bad. I was muted for a little bit. But anyway, we have... we have GUMIHO here denying that third base for a little bit. Big attack coming in. Ravens with auto turrets from the backside. Is it enough? I think it's... well, just barely isn't actually. 2 siege tanks and a Viking still remain. Make that 2 Vikings and 4 Marines. It really isn't that much, but in comparison to what Time has, it is more than enough. So, has to be a little bit wary here. The siege tank has to siege up, but yeah, GG is called. GUMIHO ties up the series right here, right now. Sounds like another game has kicked off here. Game number 3 in this best of 5 series between the Blue Terran in the bottom left side from Storm Gaming. It is GUMIHO. Top right position, a red Terran resides. It is, well, of course, KZ Gamers Time. What happened game 1 and 2? Well, first game, Time just kind of went for a little bit of a greedier opening hit. Wow, that is... oh my god, this is weird, isn't it? Oh, he's going to see it as well right now. He's just going to walk straight over it. Well, game number 1... oh no, he isn't actually... oh my god, this is so weird. Okay, now he sees it. The awkwardness. The awkwardness of TVT sometimes. Alright, so yeah, game number 1, Time just kind of went for a 1 gas CC build, so he had a bit of an economic advantage. GUMIHO tried to do an attack, but it was a little bit too little, too late, when Time was already on 3 base. Time went for a counter-attack, a base trade situation developed, where Time just had a few more units on his side of the map, as well as I believe on the other side of the map, which... just put GUMIHO in a very, very awkward situation and couldn't quite clean up on either side of the map because of it. Game number 2, GUMIHO just kind of being ahead on Time when both players trying to do a proxy 2 rag similar to this game and then falling apart right then and there. Where's this Reaper gonna go? Still across the map, alright. So yeah, and get that game number 2, GUMIHO just eventually just kind of walked across the map and killed Time. But to be fair, Time did invest a lot in trying to harass his opponent as well. He did send in his Cyclones, his Reapers, as well as a full medevac of Marines without stim and combat shields. Trying to get work done. Alright, now we've got this, well, interesting little dance about who gets to kill his opponent's SCVs quicker than the other one without messing up. This Reaper right here, about to mess up perhaps. Not that much HP remaining. Ooh, okay, no, he stays alive, stays alive. Here we go on the other side. Well, at least they're committed. I mean, GUMIHO has 2 barracks all across the map, right? So he should have the advantage here, I imagine. Still has more workers as well. He's got... wow, that's a Hellion here now. Wait, he built a factory? I thought that was a barracks building. No, it has been a factory. Okay, nothing can shoot up for either of these players, so... is this a draw? Oh, GUMIHO making a starport. If he gets a Viking out, that's GG, which is funny. Just the fact of having 1 Viking could make this GG, but he still needs some money, actually. He still needs some minerals in order to make that happen. To make that a thing. I think Time has it, right? He's got the Hellions here versus the Reapers, which is just gonna be enough to stop Time from doing damage here. Which means GUMIHO is gonna be able to mine again, and... yeah, floating buildings are gonna start being destroyed. Yeah, I'm not sure what this command center is doing over here. I'm not sure what this command center is doing over here, but apparently it didn't help. GG. A couple of SCVs walking across the map. At least no proxies this time around. Poking in, checking out. Poking in, let me begin. No, wait, it would be poking out, poking in, let me begin. And then some other lyrics too, which I don't know about. But anyway. I hope you guys got that reference, at least. Is it a reference or is it just a song? I don't know if it... Yeah, probably. It's early, alright? It's early in the morning. I usually wake up about, you know, 4 hours after this time period, so... Have some patience with me, please. Alright, identical builds here. So far. GUMIHO has the advantage just because his barracks doesn't have a supply depot where the reactor wants to be. Right, an advantage spawning top left side instead of bottom right. But then again, is the reactor a lot more vulnerable to siege tanks, right? If they do push up here, so a bit of a give and take on that department. Really not that much else to talk about. Oh, wait a moment. Widowmine, once again from GUMIHO. I kind of like the Widowmine. It's a nice way to stop that early game harassment. Right? Or at least make it a lot more difficult to just push in here with quick Reapers, Aliens, or even a Cyclone, right? Sometimes people just bring out a Cyclone as quickly as they can. But with that Widowmine there, you kind of have to choose to either sacrifice a single unit, which is already kind of difficult because it might just get gunned down anyway. Or you're just gonna have to run up there and hope you don't take massive splash damage from it. So yeah, just a single Widowmine. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Alright. Just checking out what is what. Want to know whether or not their opponents are up to no good. And GUMIHO sees. He's like, alright, well that looks like a fair bit of army to me. Doesn't look like you're already across the map somewhere. Getting a bit uppity again with his Widowmine, putting it quite far forwards. I'm not sure if I like it. Yeah, okay. Well, it still lives, right? It still lives. It's been exposed, but it's alive, so... Take what you can get. Alright, third base. Coming up for time in a good position as he is pushing into this flank right here. Trying to jump on the edge of the main base, but two siege tanks there absolutely pummel him away from that position. Not gonna happen. Says GUMIHO, moves back into his natural base as he realizes that's probably where you're gonna try to push me next. Absolutely correct. Although he's not really being pushed, he's more so being contained. Ooh, this could be big. Auto turrets need to protect the siege tanks for a little bit here. Great interference matrix on the siege tank of time. Should be able to get shot down here before anything else bad happens. And even another siege tank does get picked off right there. Ooh, at least it should get picked off, just barely. Right, Reaper's quicker than a siege tank. Come on, Mr. Reaper. Ooh, throws down the auto turret. Just to be sure that he gets it. There's another one of them, and no more energy on those Ravens. Doubt that GUMIHO is going to be able to push in any deeper than this. But he sees that command center, and that fills him with quite the intense fury. It would appear 3 siege tanks just materialize for him. As Time doesn't feel comfortable trying to hold the low ground right there. With only his one siege tank, that makes sense. I mean, GUMIHO has the opportunity to either push the third base or the natural. If you leave yourself exposed on both areas, that could just be a 50-50 coin flip of, alright, well, I guess it's GG. Depending on where GUMIHO decides to push. So decides to go back into his main base. Has a superior air fleet for the time being. 6 Vikings and the 2 Ravens. That is his big advantage here. But it's not really an advantage that allows you to push out into your opponent as quickly. Right? It's one of those advantages that kind of works over time. You have that vision increase. You have your Ravens more so accessible as well. And then again, you do need that fleet at your own natural if you do want to try to push out with it. Instead, flying it across the map, and I think GUMIHO is aware as he is scanning out the base of time. He's checking for it, he's looking for it, can't quite find it. And I thought he was sending in some units into his main base to defend against it, but so far not entirely true. Is this still enough though? Siege tanks do a pretty good job against those Vikings, that is for sure. As the other auto turrets arrive now as well. Yeah, that looks pretty well held. 9 workers go down, but time should be okay with that for this one, as he has his third base in location, mining already in orbital, making those SCVs, whereas, well, time, he's stuck. He is stuck. He's got 4 siege tanks at his front door and no real way to get rid of them now anymore. Those Ravens were his best shot to clean that up, and instead used them to try and break his opponent's main base, I suppose. Deal a catastrophic amount of damage, but which didn't quite happen. 2 medevac drop right here, also not really accomplishing what they set out to do, as the front line of siege tanks are going to get some reinforcements momentarily. Right, has to break out. Here we go, the big old push. Only 2 siege tanks remain. No reinforcements was sent in anymore for GUMIHO, so this is a pretty convincing fight for time, as how many siege tanks are still behind? It looks like 2 of them. 3rd one on the way. Not that many, not in a good spot either. But with the Marines running across the map, that allows the Vikings to suddenly set up shop in Time's base. A absolutely crazy crazy game right here. We're gonna go into a doom drop, because why the hell not? Why not, right? Let's make this even crazier than it already is. 3 siege tanks there for GUMIHO, still waiting. Did he bring back his air army? I'm not quite sure where it went. Did they all die? I think they did. As GUMIHO taps out. Wow, GG is called. I did not anticipate that to go into Time's favor anymore. But that definitely went into Time's favor there in the end, so well played. Alright. Pretty safe openings here for both players. 2 gas on either sides. 2 dogs. Well, actually, there's just 1 dog in each base, right? I believe there is. 2 dogs in total. They'll have to share the 2 dogs. Well, at least Time took a look around the other side of the map. He didn't want to get blindsided. So they go for the SCV scout. GUMIHO didn't, so, you know, slight tiny advantage there in a way. Doesn't know what his opponent is doing, but he has more minerals. So make of that what you will. I guess he knows now what his opponent is doing. Does get a good hit on the Reaper. The Reaper, they do regenerate. But also they're a bit more fragile other than the Hellions. So if they get targeted quite quickly, they will fall. And GUMIHO did a pretty darn good job here, if I say so. That is a wonderful trade. Killed 2 Reapers. With the exact same unit count here. So that is as good as it can go. Little medevac coming up as well. Doubt he's going to try to do drops at this moment. He's already in a good position, doesn't have to take that many gambles. And time goes for the Banshee for the first Banshee of this entire series so far. I was anticipating GUMIHO to be the player to start making Banshees. No, sir. I guess I wasn't expecting GUMIHO to get aggressive either, but there he goes with that medevac. Double Cyclone load for this medevac over here. Does GUMIHO spot it? He does. Okay, that could be a bummer there for time. Does still manage to get out of that location. Was he gonna try to commit for this spot right here? No, just goes to intercept the units that were trying to intercept him. Intercept Palooza over here. There's the siege tank though. Marines being dropped in front. That is a Banshee, but that is no cloak. So that Banshee's going to get targeted down quite quickly. The Cyclones on the other side of the map as well get taken out. And that is a victory for GUMIHO. 3-2. Well played, Mr. GUMIHO.